I got 4 kids.
Yes.
There's got to be a little musical moment in the
Right.
Musical interlude.
Danielle plays Caroline. She has 4 kids, and one kid is off in Vietnam in a part of the war. And then she has a daughter that's in school, young daughter that she's like the millennials of today. She's ready for change. She may or may not have been involved in some political stuff that's happening with Confederate statues being pulled down. And yeah, everybody's just trying to navigate all the change that's happening in the world, especially in 1963. We have the assassination of JFK that's going on, and a lot of people had their trust in him that, especially with race relations, things were going to change. And so now it's like, he's gone, so where does that leave us? And not only that, Caroline, one of the
Don't
cool
give
things...
a spoiler now.
No, one of the cool things about, I think everybody kind of knows this, one of the cool things about Caroline or Change is that her, the things that she works with, her washing machine, the dryer, the radio, they all come to life, and they're part of the storytelling, and the moon as well. So you don't just have physical characters, you also have, objects as well.
May I jump in real quick?
This is one of the most powerful female roles in musical theater. So talk to me about Caroline and playing this part, kind of getting to know her.
This is a fantastic opportunity for me to be transparent as an artist too, and say the role excited me, first of all, when I got the script and was able to read through the whole thing. And then also when I listened to the original Broadway soundtrack, I was immediately aware of the challenge that's before me. Not that I intend to do it like Miss Tanya Pinkins, am I saying that? But she virtually belts this entire show, and I know that there are moments that call for that. And if anyone saw me in Porgy and Bess at the JTB a couple years ago, then I'm used to singing in certain notes in that upper register in my head voice. But I'm being stretched by this music to find a new part of my voice that I really hadn't tapped into before.
So let's talk about the music for a second, because this is a hybrid of sound.
Because the postcard says just gospel and blues, and I know I just interrupted you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
But there's also, I think, folk, one could say.
There's a little bit of Americana in there. There's also just straight out Motown, girl group, spy. There's a spy theme motive in one scene that happens. But also, I mean, it is an out-and-out opera. I mean, it is wall-to-wall music. A lot of dialogue is sung. But above all, I mean, Jeanine Tesori, who wrote it, who also wrote things like Violet, Thoroughly Modern Millie, Shrek, and most recently Fun Home. I mean, she makes it to where you get just enough of a genre, and then she puts it 180 into something else. But it's not distracting. It's not also... everything seems to flow pretty well, and even though it may sound random, it just totally makes sense.
It's magical, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is this wonderfully orchestrated life that's extremely, only in the theater can this happen. Yeah.
You mentioned, Tara, about one of the characters may or may not have taken down a Confederate statue in this play. This play was written, 2003, 2004. It was 2004 Tony Award season, that season. That's when it was first produced on Broadway. Why is it so timely for right now? Why is this the right story for you guys to be telling now, especially here? I know, Jackson, you were kind of instrumental in putting together the seasons, so why this show? Why now?
Did you want to?
Well,
first, and then I'll talk about the season.
Well, I think I work in Chapel Hill, theater teacher at Coworth Middle School, and it's in the news. It's relevant now, Silent Sam, and there's been a lot of protests about Confederate statues, and so when I really delved into the script, I was like, wow, did they know that they were creating something that was so timeless, that was
Timeless, right?
timeless, that, and it's kind of sad that is, here we are, 2019, and we're still talking about the same issues and the same things and fighting for the same rights. And it's really like how much change has happened and how far do we have to go. So if you wanna-
Yeah, and when the artistic committee for JTP met about curating the season, which is called She Is, Women and Being Empowered and stuff like that, something that we started with was that what we did not want to do was the stigma in female-driven plays and musicals, that a woman first has to be knocked down in order to rise up.
Yeah.
So we wanted to present a season of plays where women start strong and get stronger, whether that's prevailing over a situation or learning more about themselves. So we didn't want the female to be a victim first before rising up as a hero. And so in terms of musical theater, unfortunately, there are very few musicals that do that. And actually a lot of classic musicals are now coming back into the spotlight. My Fair Lady, Kiss Me Kate, where it's like, can we do this anymore? But I really had an affinity personally for Caroline or Change because she is strong from the moment we see her, and we see her rise and becomes a stronger person. Actually, everyone in this, but especially Caroline, and that internal battle is really what makes her stronger in the end. So we wanted to do this, and we also thought it would be a challenge for JTP because it's a smaller musical. It's more intimate. It's one set, or practically
Well,
one
I've seen
set.
her bigger musicals, JTP.
Right,
Yeah.
Porgy and Bess, Oliver, Big.
As far as cast, it
Yes.
was, she was challenged by the role, even like the creating the set and creating all the different spaces was a challenge for me as a director. And because it's like, how do we do costumes if we got a washing machine and all this? So I think it's a smaller cast than their normal musicals, but the theme and the story I think was the most challenging, not straightforward story or not the easiest story to tell, because there's so many layers to Caroline or Change.
Yeah, and going off to what Tara was saying about the timelessness and the timeliness of it, we found that beyond the racial component of it, I mean, just the sheer talking to each other, the communication of the different people in terms of the class of, someone like Rose, who is more upper middle class, talking to Caroline, finding it difficult. Beyond black and white, she just can find it very difficult to relate because Caroline has the struggles and Rose has never really had the struggle, and now she is. So we thought there was just a lot underneath it, more than scratches the surface. I mean, than we're talking about. But there's just a lot deeper themes about human connection and just communication that we thought were more timely, than.
Which is what makes great theater, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do you all hope people will get out of this show coming to see it? Obviously you want people to be entertained, but what do you want people to take away? What's the takeaway of this?
Maybe a renewed sense of empathy. Perhaps some form of, what's the word, like therapeutic. I would love people to really come cathartic.
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to have some form of cathartic
Yeah, that'd be
experience.
great.
That'd be amazing.
It does warrant that.
It
does
does,
get
doesn't
that
it?
out of you. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think people who have no idea what the show is about will be incredibly surprised by
Right.
the story and
Power of it.
the power of the story.